Get ready to take a look behind the scenes and enter the impossible for the Between Two Minds podcast with our hosts, Judge Mentalist and Bernardo Rodriguez. Can they really tell you what you're thinking? Get ready to take a look behind the scenes.
I did it again. I did it again, people. I need to get back in this rhythm. It's Judge Mentalist here coming at you, screwing up all of the knobs and dials that are making the sound go. At least I pressed record this time and stream and didn't have to do that twice like the other day's show. So we're back and we are in Performing Hypnosis Summit season, as you can see from the little logo that's up here, and you'll start seeing these give or take with the holiday twice a week leading up to the summit, which is this January, the 24th through the 26th, I believe, of January 2026 at the Gold Coast Casino. This is the third year in person, fourth year overall for the Performing Hypnosis Summit. If you are somehow coming to this interview as your first exposure to the Performing Hypnosis Summit, then maybe you're new to hypnosis or just new to finding out that we have conferences and fun stuff like this. This is a great conference for anybody who plans to do any sort of performance. I say, even though the title is the Performing Hypnosis Summit, there's a lot of value in this conference for anybody that is performing on a stage anywhere under the mystery arts umbrella. So magicians, mentalists, even acrobats, because a lot of what we talk about is the actual performances that we do, the business side of things. I have done talks about how to get out there and do your first show. I'm going to be presenting on setting up fundraiser shows and getting sponsorships for that. There are a lot of other great folks out there that are presenting, and we're going to talk about that today, more along the lines of how to elevate your game as a performer. There have been years where folks have come in and had a wide array of sound equipment, microphones, speakers, amps, mixers, all the different cables, and have literally walked through how to set up and use. You want to use this type of thing for that situation and that type of thing for the other situation. And here's how to keep it all safe. A wealth of knowledge each and every year at the Performing Hypnosis Summit. And this year will be no different. So without further ado, I would like to introduce and welcome our guest, a hypnotist himself, but part of the coordination team that really runs everything that makes this conference a success. Again, this is the third in-person year, and if you haven't attended one of these conferences, you might not have full appreciation for all that goes on behind the scenes, not just the weekend of the conference, but even leading up to it, because who we're about to talk to here is the guy who deals with all of the logistics, including making sure that room block gets you the discount on the room, which we'll talk about here. So without further ado, it is my honor, it is my pleasure to introduce the amazing, the wonderful, the sometimes voluptuous Brian Bay.
I see that the check cleared.
Yes.
All those kind words.
How are you today?
Oh man, I'm feeling better. It was the last couple of days have just been nonstop. If it hasn't made national news yet, the meteorologists, the weather people in the greater Seattle area refer to what is an atmospheric river, which means we got a lot of rain, biblical proportions, 100-year floods are going on. Fortunately, I'm kind of up on a plateau, a couple hundred feet, but a lot of Snohomish County and King County and Pierce County, so up and down the I-5 corridor from Tacoma to Seattle and even north up into Skagit County, Mount Vernon, is underwater. And there's more rain on the way. So it's a lot of people are doing, and from the personal injury you deal with some claims on the insurance side. People don't understand that if there's that shiny reflection across the road and there's a big gigantic road closed sign underneath it, it says water on the roadway, yet people still try to
Yes,
like they're Moses parting the river, and it's like, no, you are not you're not part of the Cajun Navy where you can just have an airboat or that like 8-foot lifted truck with monster truck tires on it, where you're used to just driving around the swamps. But I kid you not, there are people that decided we're going to go camping next to the river, and then search and rescue and a helicopter has to come get you. But
be safe out there, folks.
Yeah, it's things could be worse. I could be Grant Saunders up in the Great White North of minus 35 C, but I think Sean Kostiuk was telling us that at negative 40, it matters not what letter you put after the numbers. It's the same. That's the only part where the metric and standard cross.
Oh, where the math is identical. I'm
Exactly.
assuming that in that range, regardless of what the number is, it all feels about the same.
Yeah, it's Grant's like I was talking to Grant because he was being super disciplined and getting his steps in and going for a walk, and I could hear the snow and ice crunch under his feet, and the shakiness of his breath as he's very labored breathing. And he's like, Brian, I tell you, I don't know what time it is. I'm not pulling my hands out of my pocket to look at my phone. I'm talking to you through the earbuds, and I'm not cut out for this. I think there was some British profanity in there, but today's a kid show or family friendly.
So we are a month and a half away from the 3rd in-person, 4th overall Performing Hypnosis Summit. You have been, correct me if I'm wrong, involved with this thing since the beginning, correct?
Yeah, indirectly. The first year it was more online.
Right.
I didn't have a whole lot to do with that, like participation wise. I think that was Jim and Grant's more, hey, we're going to experiment, see if we can have a proof of concept, and then roll with it. I went down the first year that we did it in person. That's where I met Grant in person for the first time, along with Kevin and Michael Deschalet, Salish, all the wonderful, wonderful people. And then the second year, I had to go make the phone call to destroy everybody's holidays as soon as I got word of Jim's passing.
Right.
And it was one of those, the conference that you looked forward to or that you dreaded looking forward to, because it was, on one hand, it was, we've all got to come together and acknowledge, Jim's passing and you kind of mourn together. But at the same time, and I think equally important, was we all get to come together, and it was almost like a family reunion where there was just, I never felt so much just love. And I use the term fellowship in the non-religious form. We're all just getting together, and it's friends, it's colleagues, meeting new people, getting reacquainted with folks that you hadn't seen since the year prior. And I've talked to some people that are like, well, I don't know what to say. There's kind of a social anxiety, and I'm like, you don't have to say anything. You have to say hi. Someone's going to come up to you, introduce themselves. What do you do? I'm just starting out. We had one lady who, I think last year, just decided to get in her car from Northern California. Something said, point me to Vegas. She walked into the hotel and saw Performing Hypnosis Summit, came up and said, what's this about? Okay, how do I pay for this? And she jumped right in. And I believe she's coming back this year.
Wonderful.
I haven't seen the entire guest list, but you don't have to be Salish that's been in the game, for 30 plus years.
And for anybody who is interested, this is the performinghypnosissummit.com. It is 3 days of all sorts of information. The current schedule, and I know that, and here's the thing you got to understand about conferences, especially these types of conferences, is that the presenters are oftentimes performers. So sometimes things come up, schedules change, but for the most part, and I believe you guys are doing something that when you confirm solidly, you're denoting that on the calendar so that people know that this person has absolutely 100% confirmed, has blocked out any bookings. So barring that unicorn booking that is going to get them more money than they'd ever have in a normal, that same time frame, that makes it worth stepping out. Subject to change, but you can see for the most part the topics that are out there and the things that you're going to learn. But I love that you mention the family element, the feeling, the community, because before I started doing hypnosis, I was involved, still am, in magic, mentalism, in that world. And if you have gone to one of those conferences, this is probably going to be a very different experience for you, because
I gotta throw a caveat on the family thing.
Yeah.
It tends to be a close friendship association, not the toxic work employer goes, we're a family here, which means we're going to use you up as a resource and then throw you to the curb when we're done. Or, it's we all get together and hang out and spend time together because we want to.
Right. Yeah. And it's such a welcoming environment, because I have been in rooms, whether they were magic and mentalism conventions or whatever they were, and it was not necessarily the most welcoming environment. There was kind of, you sometimes go into some of these rooms and you get that, who's this person? Why are they here? Let's all huddle over in this corner and share this thing, but not with that group. And that's not what happens at the Performing Hypnosis Summit. I mean, the conferences, any of these hypnosis conferences, the script is different than what I've experienced in other avenue conferences. So,
and we'll say hi to Becky, because she's joining us from England on her day off. But yeah, kind of on that note, on the inclusivity or kind of divisiveness with conferences or any organization, you reach a certain number of people that are involved, and you're going to have differences of opinion. You're going to have people that just don't mesh together, but you hope that there's enough of a professional courtesy where everybody can be civil in the same room, and you don't have to go out and be drinking buddies. It's just sort of like, look, I'm going to give you space, you give me, and it's fine. We haven't really run into that with this conference. I've heard of other conferences where, and it kind of is by default, where people just have their, I don't say they form cliques, but it's like you have like-minded people that have their interests. So when you have a conference that says, hey, we've got a lot of entertainers, we've got a lot of people that do the therapy side, they're going to kind of tend to gravitate. But it's not always a bad thing. But with Performing Hypnosis Summit, it's been, we just like to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some optional extracurriculars. There's going to be some shows that we're going to go see. It's all optional, relatively low cost. I think under $30 per event.
What do you know for sure? Let's fill people in. And for anybody who's watching on one of these platforms that has a comment or a chat feature, feel free to jump in there, because we can make that show up. If you have questions about the summit, Brian is a great resource. He knows about many of the things that you may or may not ever even see or know are happening behind the scenes. So if you have specific questions about things, ask them here in the chat. If you're here live, we've got a handful of people here. We will get those answered live and on the air. What are some of the extracurriculars that are on deck this year?
So I know that we are kind of tradition. Kevin Lapine and Michael Deschalet are, the kind of our boots on the ground folks that are in Las Vegas. So they have their residency shows, and they're both going to be speaking at the summit. Kevin does his Hypnosis Unleashed show at the Four Queens Hotel and Casino right off of right on Fremont Street. So we kind of break from we break a little bit a little bit early, and it's just sort of like go upstairs, get changed, kind of freshen up real fast. We'll all share a variety of Ubers, go grab something to eat, kind of a low cost dinner, and then kind of hang out. We'll do the show, watch Kevin's show in the evening, and then it's sort of up to you what you want to do for the rest of the night. You want to go wander around? Some people want to go gamble. It's not we're not saying that you have to go out and party hard. If you do, imbibe and consume, please do it responsibly, be safe and whatnot. And if you want to just go, hey, tonight was great, it's 10 o'clock, I want to be up early and get some decent sleep, go do that too. So I think Thursday is the general plan to go see Michael DeShalit show. So if you get into town early enough, I'm going to steal something from one of your previous broadcasts, Joe Beth, is especially if you're coming in from another time zone, give yourself a day or two. The weekday rates are inexpensive. It's probably going to more than offset the extra hotel stay as far as the savings on your airfare.
Right.
I know it was, I think it was like $49 each way or $69 or something, Southwest from Seattle to Vegas, coming in on a Tuesday or Wednesday. If I flew in Thursday night, it was almost $300. So, my ex, and I've got to be there early anyway, just to help Grant, coordinate the logistics and stuff. And then I also want some time to just sort of go pal around and run around with the, on the strip and see the sights and everything like that.
There's always a ton to do in Vegas. And one of the things, and I think this was from last year, that schedule is so jam-packed. And with even the optional after hours stuff, that if there are other things that you're looking to do exploration wise in Vegas, grab extra days, whether they're on the front or the back end. Don't anticipate being able to do whatever on the days that are on the calendar of PHS, because you're not getting to the Grand Canyon and back unless you're losing a whole day. None of that's happening. You might,
or unless you're taking a helicopter, some type of aircraft.
But even then, you that's still stuff that you want to do during the day. I think the canyon itself, there are really cool. Years ago, I did a helicopter ride up and down the strip at night with all the lights and everything, which is super cool as well.
Yeah. So I know that Mark Savard is got his show. He's bringing it back. He's got a 6 p.m. show on Monday evening. I think that's going to work out. The 26th, correct. So Tommy G. Orlando is doing the Tom Silver Foundation, a post-conference certification.
We had him on Tuesday and talked about that. So jump back to the previous episode if you are interested in learning about that.
So that
for decent amount of time.
That's going to support a great cause. Also, add to your resume, and kind of taking a step back as far as giving yourself some extra days. Turn this into, if you're writing this off as a business trip, pad those extra days on either end and get some vacation in it. I know my friend Brent Arnold from Templar Financial is going to be doing a wonderful talk about some advanced financial planning and business structuring, to where you can leverage your business, especially if you're a performer, to tax shelter your money and really get a more bang for your buck or value for your dollar that you're making, and give as little as you can to the government while maximizing the benefits there. So there's a lot of strategies. I think we're going to either have him on, or he's just a wonderful guy that you're going to meet, and just a pleasure to be around. One of the smartest
Get him
guys
on the show. Get him on the show. Look, I'm gonna put this offer out there to anybody. There are better resources than me. I will say that. However, if you are coming for extra days and you've got questions and ideas for things to do, you are more than welcome to reach out to me through any of these channels where you might be seeing this stream or the replay and ask me about ideas. I usually get to Vegas 6 to 8 times a year, most years. I know a lot of different spots. Again, there are better people than me to get this information from, but I can guarantee you that I will be accessible and willing to answer any questions that you have that I have the answers to.
And on that note, if you guys go into the Performing Hypnosis Facebook group or the Hypnosis Summit event page, tag me in there and then say, hey, I sent you a private message or something like that, so that if we're not connected on Facebook, that way I know to look in the message requests, and I will absolutely help you out however I can, point you in the right direction. For those that have tried to use the discount link on the website and have gotten some error messages and everything, I've been in contact with the hotel. We've got that straightened out, and we just added some extra rooms that are available. So I think what happened is somebody put in their block that they were going to stay, and there was not a room that was available. So it just said, hey, we're sold out. There's nothing available, or got some type of error message. So that's been fixed.
So check that back again. If for whatever reason, if you look at it and you don't have discounted rates on all of the days for whatever reason, call the hotel. They can sort it out for you.
And this is something that's worth mentioning. What you saw last year as far as pricing. So it's going to be about $50 to reserve your room. You pay for the first night. So the room rate, I think, is about $45 for during the week. And then I think Friday, Saturday, it goes up to $87. So if you see on the website where it's like, it starts off at $99 or something, or $89, there's a new law that passed in California, the People's Republic of, that mandates that the hotel includes all of the resort fees and taxes and everything like that in that number. So if you look underneath, it'll say this price includes all of it. But when you get your breakdown, it'll say, here's all the room rates, here's resort fees, here's taxes, here's your total, and all that stuff. So, just don't freak out about that. The hotels are pretty affordable. Gold Coast has upgraded and done a renovation since last year. And
nice.
Seen the updated photos are on the Gold Coast website, and I'm excited to see it. I just can't say enough about this. I apologize in advance for everybody who was kind of going like, what's the schedule? What's the schedule? What's the schedule? We haven't booked anything because we don't know the schedule.
Now you have a schedule.
Yeah.
What's give me one thing on that schedule that you are highly anticipating, very much looking forward to.
I'll probably do I think a singular event, having my friend Brent do his presentation, because in last year, in talking to a lot of people, I just kind of did a temperature check. Hey, is this something that you'd be interested? And it wasn't until I got in a conversation with Chris Jones, who said, hey, what do you think about having him come out? Do you think that would be valuable? And he was like, yes, absolutely. Unconditionally, yes. Talking to Kevin Lapine, he was like, yes, a lot of people could use that. And, Chris was like, I want to hear him talk, hear what he has to say, and great ideas, because, he just had another baby, I think a day or two ago. So congratulations, Chris. And then just seeing everybody, connecting, you and I had the ability to go catch a hockey game last year. It just, opportunity.
Schedule ain't falling in our favor this year, though.
I know. And especially Carter Hart being just signing with them. I remember watching him in the WHL with the Everett Silvertips. So he, good kid, hate to see what he had to go through, but he had the mental toughness to endure that. But I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to is just getting out with everybody. Last year we went out in front of the fountains at the Bellagio. Now, granted, it was a little chilly and brisk because weather.
It's January.
But I mean, if you've never seen Joe Beth, I'm gonna have you back me up on this. When you stand dead center at the fountains and you're watching all the fountains go off and the music and it's all choreographed and everything. Yeah, it's cool to see it on YouTube, but it's quite another experience to see it in person.
100%. Yeah.
And then
if you've never done it before, you need to.
Fremont Street is just another Fremont Street's wild. It's not that it's super out of control. When I say wild, they've got the biggest arced big screen TV that spans a quarter mile,
something like that.
Several city blocks, and they've got two different zip lines in it.
All the old school classic Vegas feel is down there.
Oh, yeah,
modern, a good mix.
And even they do a great job of having live bands that big stages and stuff. So you're just walking up and down. And pro tip, everybody, if you're on Fremont Street and there are the buskers that are in the little circle, if you're going to utilize their services, they work for tips. They can't ask for them. So you're not obligated, but hey, if you can spare it, that's how they make their money.
And if you are a street hypnotist who sees one of those circles, don't just jump in it. There is a permitting process. The people that are in there have gone through a process. They're permitted to be there. Don't just jump one of those circles or you will get fined or cited or whatever it is. And so don't do it. And rest assured, know that the people who are in those circles belong there. They're assigned to them.
Yeah. And everybody, God, I went down. I think it was the first year. I was kind of palling around with Carol, and I think it was right after we saw Kevin's show, and we were just kind of wandering around, and there's this guy. He's got like a portable breathalyzer, and he's got these signs that you take pictures. How drunk am I, and just a bunch of silly sayings on there, and it's you see some of the wildest silly stuff. Yeah. And then he goes, okay, how drunk do you think you are? And people will go out there and be like, all right, well, I think I'm a this. And it's like, put the press straw on there, blow in this, you gotta whatever. And it's more of an awareness thing, which I think it's cool, but it's also done in kind of a humorous, fun way without really promoting drinking. It's just, hey, you can kind of spot check yourself. And again, the conference is not, we're not promoting drinking. We're also not telling you don't consume. We don't care either way. We want everybody to be safe, everybody to have fun, and everybody to feel like they belong. And if there is anything that I can do or Grant can do to help your experience be better, if it's within our abilities to do it, we'll absolutely, and it makes sense. Yeah, we'll absolutely do it. But as far as schedule goes, yeah, things can happen. Last year, it all kind of blends together. It was either last year or the first year. Salish called me and was like, hey, I'm on an airplane. I fly in a couple hours. His schedule just, something opened up where he had availability. And I, went up to the front desk going, hey, do you guys have another room? Here's kind of our situation. Yeah. Gold Coast was accommodating. And they're like, on these special onesies and twosies, yeah. But if it's, hey, I just waited until the last minute, there's really not going to be anything that I'm going to be able to do. And then sometimes, like you said earlier, sometimes things come up where someone goes, I just got offered a stupid rate to Dan says, I'm allowed one big beer on Fremont Street. So Dan, you'll
ever since
this.
the incident, people, ever since the incident, one beer on Fremont for Dan.
Hockey rules apply. If there's tangible liquid in the glass or the container, the vessel that you are consuming from, and you refill it, you're still on your first beer.
Still on the first beer.
Pro tip. But yeah, going back to, sometimes entertainers will get this like, hey, I got made the offer that I can't refuse. I've got to back out. We've got to, juggle some things around. Or if you're Grant at, I'm supposed to speak at Heartland, and then I end up in the hospital and they won't let you fly. Those types of things happen.
Things happen, but in general, this schedule solidifying and is where it is. So excellent, wonderful. So if you are not registered for whatever reason, performinghypnosissummit.com right there. And we've mentioned it for the room block, and I'll put the link in the subject line.
Oh, I've got one more thing, Joe Beth.
Yeah.
Guys, for your rooms, use the link or call the hotel directly and use the promo code that's listed on the website. Do not go through hotels.com, Expedia, any type of third party, because they'll tell you that you'll get the rate, but they won't give it to you. And Gold Coast has absolutely no control over those third party rates.
Yeah.
So if you run into any problems, get a hold of me, get a hold of Grant, get a hold of Captain Sean or Joe Beth, and he'll get a hold of me and we'll sort it out.
I am booking your hotels for you, but I'll talk to you about Vegas stuff. I'll get you to Brian to fix it. So excellent, wonderful Performing Hypnosis Summit, a month and a half away. Be there. It's going to be amazing. If you somehow can't physically be there, there's still an online component, so you can get it all streaming. That is it's better in person, but that's also a great option for those who have scheduling conflicts or otherwise. And
if you saw the thumbnail beforehand, I'd be remiss if we did not mention Casey and our conference morale officer, Mr. Brewster Bear, the service dog. So he's got an amazing story. Casey will tell you all about it. It's really interesting and really, a testament to her resilience and whatnot. But excuse me. Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys all there.
Wonderful. See you there, performinghypnosissummit.com. Thank you so much for your time. Until the next one, I don't know who we have up next, but check back on these channels probably next Tuesday, next Thursday, this same time. Well, 30 minutes before this time. And you'll see more of these leading up to the conference, and there'll probably be more than on Tuesdays and Thursdays as we get a little closer and into the new year. So be safe out there, everybody. Be well.
Stay free, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Between Two Minds Behind the Scenes podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media under Between Two Minds with the number 2 instead of TWO, or under Enter the Impossible. Thank you, and we hope to see you back for the next episode.